I think I heard a buffalo.
Combine was mostly for us to sort of just give us something else to look at and something fun to watch, and actually give them an opportunity to feel like athletes, not just rowers, like awkward rowers. They do some athletic things and see what they can do.
It was last January camp when the football games were going on, AFC, NFC games were going on, so we broke it up. We wanted to do a fun workout. We decided to do like an NFL combine. The erg is just this is a straightforward Watts test, which we'd done a little bit with the guys before, and just tried to see who has power. Like pretty simple. Like a 5-stroke max Watts test. Nothing hidden there. A lot of different countries are doing it, but just see who's got that kind of power get off the way.
Pull-ups, they've gotten a lot better at pull-ups actually.
Yeah.
I think the twins last year could do like 6 or 7 pull-ups. And last year we allowed them to do like kipping, basically however they could get up. And this year it was strict pull-ups. And they all improved, which is good to see, because we've been focusing a lot on weights and strength and power. So it was good to see them all improve. Broad jump's a bit of a power, explosive movement as well. And, this year was really fun because one of our strength coaches, used to coach the decathlon at UCLA. He was telling the guys that some of the guys that he's coached over the years, and they could jump 11 or 12 feet in the standing broad jump. And then it was fun to see our guys actually get over 10 feet. A couple of the guys can jump pretty far. And so I think that builds their confidence. They feel like they're athletic. They feel like they're, not as far off, some of these top guys as they might have originally thought.
I think the vertical makes you quickly realize that there's a reason why they're not basketball players. Like for really tall dudes, we're all pretty big guys, and we're all pretty tall. And most likely, most of us probably played basketball at some point in our lives, and we all came to that realization that we're just not very good basketball players. And then you really see that vertical, that really kind of carries over still to this part of their lives, that they would not be successful if they were on a basketball court. Most of them.
The funny part about the vertical is that they try to like cheat because we have to do a starting point, so they reach up and see how far they can reach, and then some of them are just like they're trying to like short arm it and see if they don't reach all the way, so that they get a bigger gap. Oh man, it's too much. Yeah, the bench pull is that's a tough one. That's a tricky. There's a bit of gamesmanship there, because the way we do it is you can go as many reps as you want.
Three attempts.
3 attempts, but you can't go, once you hit a certain weight, you can't go back down. So if you go up too high in weight and fail, you can't, that's it. You can't make an attempt at a lower weight.
Yeah. So Gennaro, last year, Gennaro was a little upset because I may have slightly encouraged him to go heavier on the weight for maybe his first attempt. Or second attempt, maybe, I can't even really remember. And then, like, once you go up in weight, you're not allowed to come back down. So I think he failed on the second one, and then he was basically stuck there. So he had a really low score, which was a good coaching moment, and I still remind him of that. But it's funny, yeah. And that's when we really separate the ports and the starboards, and they're yelling out fake numbers or whatever on the lift, trying to game each other.
The sled pull is that's a tricky one. It's a really hard one, because you got to be very agile with your grip in your hands, and not losing your grip on the ground, because you sit there and you pull 50 kilos about 15 feet just in the weight room there, and it's for time. And you know, we get some guys that can do it in like 4 seconds. Other guys are doing it like, if they slip on that rope, you know, you're done. It's like 10 seconds. You gotta like re-grip, and it's just a pain in the butt. So there's a little bit of skill involved in that one. That's a fun one to watch too, because they get so frustrated when the rope slips, and they start yelling at each other, and it's pretty fun to watch.
And that one's been more born out of like the world's strongest man competition.
Yeah.
Where I think our sled, what's the weight that we put on the sled for that? Maybe
50 kilos.
Okay, so 50 kilos. So that one's got some connection to the world's strongest man. I mean, we're pulling 50 kilos and they're pulling like a Volvo 18-wheeler. But same idea, really. I mean, it's basically a sled pull, but it's just like, you know, a truck that they're pulling for time. Bench press, that's kind of a true combine event. I think that also makes them really realize how strong the guys in the NFL combine are. I mean, okay, they probably realize that already, but the bench press, and I forgot what the weight is for the NFL combine.
I think it's 225.
So, okay, so 225, and guys are knocking out a lot of reps at 225. And then for us, it's 135. And guys are maybe putting up, they might be able to do as many reps as the guys in the NFL Combine, but I mean, not many of them. Maybe like one guy can, or I forgot what the NFL Combine is, but it's something ridiculous where they realize like they do it and they feel pretty good, and then all of a sudden come to that realization that if they're at the NFL Combine, they would have to stack 90 more pounds on and still do the same number of reps, and they realize that they have a long way to go. Tire flips fun. It's essentially 3 tire flips of a truck tire. And it's fun to see them try and figure out like what the rhythm of it should be. Like, should they really slam the tire down and get it to bounce so they can then kind of pick it up on the next one, or how do they kind of go about it? It's just kind of mainly about seeing guys trying to flip the truck tire. So last year we did the med ball, like the squat throw over their head, and there was a lot of controversy there because it was whether or not it was where the ball landed or the ball rolled to. And so guys were questioning the validity of that event, and so we switched this year to the shot toss on the field, where you could actually measure where they really threw to. Same idea, it's, you know, just like a clean kind of hip, explosive hip throw kind of thing. The 40-yard dash, I think, is the funniest event.
That's the main thing.
And I think last year, the bummer was this year that there were no real track athletes down there. Like last year, there were track athletes down there, and the guys got a little bit embarrassed because the track athletes were watching them run these 40-yard dashes and kind of, you know, just giggling as these guys were trying to sprint down this 40-yard track. I think it's funny, like, regardless of the event, I mean, like, okay, so 40-yard dash, it's funny as heck to watch, and they're not very good sprinters and all that stuff. They're incredibly competitive. And so even if they're terrible at an event, they're really competitive. Like, they're all like, okay, you're a terrible runner, but they're running as hard as they possibly can. And they're going, you know, very slowly, but they're still really competitive with it, even if they know they're not very good at it, which is I think a good thing for the team. Yeah,
you should see the look on their faces when they get done with everything and they're like, all right, mile. They do not want to do it. It looks painful.
Yeah. That's really just a nice way to finish them off.
But we had almost everybody under 6 minutes this year.
I think everybody
under 6 minutes.
Narig brought up he was the caboose, but he still got under 6 minutes.
The thing about the mile that you notice is how loud they are when they run. Yeah. And you can hear them. It is just like a stampede.
We're not going to sneak up on anybody.
No.
No. Maybe we could sneak up on people in world rowing, but we're not going to sneak up on people in time mile.
No.